Like, oh no, they're redefining the meta again. they're
But you know, I can completely point like this. Like, let's force Falcon to kind of come back to that. You jog them back to the world, and can they embrace themselves for that? Because that's definitely it's tough when you go that off, snap back, you know? So can they do that?
Well, we also asked with the last series, Matilda and the Phobius both walk.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, are they gonna, does Fnatic On have a plan against that? Or are they just gonna let them select it again and try and dominate on game number 4? A lot of questions we have to ask, but we'll have some answers here momentarily as we're looking at some of the players on the board.
I think it's really down to, like I said, because if FNOP's on blue side, then they might have the option for the Matilda, right? They might have, because that's where the Matilda's been going. So a lot of it's going to come down to where each one is at, and then if we think the Matilda is that prio, at least in this series between these two teams, does FCON go for like the cheeky Matilda first, second pick, right? Instead of saving it for third, do you slot it in early? If, at least between these two teams, that is one of those defining game-winning picks.
One hero for sure that's going to show up in the first phase, regardless of blue or red, is the Joy. King Kong has played the Joy 5 times now, the most in M6. That's why they call him the electrifying beast. Second would be Hades and Hoda, and then Sakai's and Tienzi. So, Joy Fredrin. Let's talk about that dynamic because it's very apt. Are we going to see that trade here again?
If the Joy goes through, I think we definitely see the trade. There's no reason for you not to see the trade between those two.
Is it that solid? Coach T, is it that solid?
I think as long as the team is solid, it's that solid. I think it is the rock, paper, scissors right now. I think it's Joy over Suyo, Suyo over Fred, and Fred over Joy. And then Alpha's just the, we can throw that in too if we want.
And that's why Coach Wynot's just like banning it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, even when it came to King Kong, when it came to that Joy, you saw everybody stacked up all the other junglers. He had an 80% win rate on that, and that was definitely affected by the last game that we just watched.
That's
with
right.
That Fredrin.
Won 4 times prior, lost just now. So that's the current stat here for the Joy. Let's talk about that Phobius. Again, Royal Milk, successful with only 2 heroes so far. The Phobius and the CC. I think that's another valid point of attack. Maybe that's what Fnatic On It can do to force out another pick out of Royal Milk. Here we go. Game number 4. Still match point for Fnatic On It Philippines despite a massive win in Game 3. Falcon Esports not out of the woods just yet.
You mean CC as in the EXP laner?
Correct.
Now that was, they pulled that pick out against BTK, game 3, or no, game 2 against the Glue.
That was the tempo breaker.
And it was a great pick against the Fredrin. So if FCON gives the Fredrin over, and then pick up the CC, maybe second phase or something.
Put it on Kirk?
Yeah, maybe even kind of pick up something that's flexible so they don't see it coming. It could definitely be a very nice counterplay we could see. Here comes the Eve ban, so already something different.
But also speaking of different, Fnatic On It is now first pick in the draft. So that means they have prio over a hero like the Bruno, which we've been seeing dominate, and usually in their hands, they're able to push on forward with it. And does Falcon Esports have something in their arsenal to be able to shut it down?
But gentlemen, I think we can agree that Bruno's not the problem, right? Especially if you're Fnatic On It. There's a way to deal with it, but just the same, they were in this very spot to start the day. They picked the Bruno first. So that could be a way to, you know, get back to your center, find a way to be proactive in the draft, and then end up with these, you know, problematic trades. The CC into the Fred, the Joy into the Fred, and oh!
Fred ban.
Already! Get out of here!
So you ban Joy here? But then you give over the Blue Yo. So no, you don't ban Joy here. But my thing is now that we have this dynamic between jungle, if they leave it all open, FNOP, do you think they would first pick Joy with Fredrin gone?
I think it would be a good read. Honestly, without that Fredrin, it's going to put a hole in the draft for Falcon Esports and maybe a little bit of a challenge, as we are seeing the bans completed and the Joy is still walking.
So the thick plottins, do we Joy?
Or do we Bruno?
Bruno?
You don't Blue Yo.
Do you Hilda?
You maybe Hilda.
Because you can
let
run
the other team.
Yeah. Because you'll end up with one or the other, but you run the risk of Joy Bruno for Falcon.
Looks like they're wondering the same thing right now.
Ooh, Fnatic on it, taking their time.
Hey, something else is still walking on the table. It may not come first, but it's been very impactful. The Farza is still on the board, and it is won on every single side it's been on in this series.
So they go for the Cho. They leave it in FCON's. If I'm FCON right now, I think I go for the Joy.
Joy Bruno?
I think Joy Bruno would be solid. It's very strong up front. Joy Bruno could be solid, honestly.
Oh.
There it is. Joy
right.
Bruno.
So Farsa here, would you right now put it into this phase? Because I wouldn't agree Farsa first 1 or 2, you know what I mean? But I would first phase.
I would first phase it. I think it would be, because if not, then Falcons is going to pick it up, right? You're kind of forced into a situation.
Isn't that damage overload, though? Isn't that a little too much soft?
I think at this point, FCON needs some sort of front line before they're all cut off.
Before you commit to that kind of artillery, right?
Do they pick up the Hilda here on FNOP? Hilda jungle? Maybe just go for the alpha?
It's either the Hilda or Khalid first.
Chose me to vanquish the shadows that plague.
Oh, Granger. We haven't seen the Granger. Granger's been getting banned.
It has.
Now that it's through, it's the clear answer to the Bruno. Which, by the way, it's been catching up, by the way. The stats are so close. The stats are neck and neck for Bruno and Granger here.
And it really helps support the Suyo and some of the things he's have. Like, it just adds a bit more damage where he needs it. The Granger's a little harder to catch, I think, than the Bruno. There goes your Hilda pick, though. So I think overall, both drafts is very solid. We finally see both coaches, I feel like, are on an even playing field going head-to-head.
Well, there's 2 flex picks available right now, right? I mean, you have the Hilda on the side of Falcon. Could be the Roam, could be the XP. Same with the Cho as well. So right now, I think it's going tit for tat. They're trying to figure out who has the edge against the other. I mean, right now, Roams are still available to be grabbed from both sides.
Current stats on the Bruno-Granger matchup, 7-6 with 1 game lead for Bruno. Thanks, Manny.
I love that. I mean, because in the beginning it was all Bruno, but now that we're getting to knockout stage, we're seeing the gold laner shine, and we're actually seeing that it's a legitimate counterplay, right?
Put it into the hands of the likes of the gold standard, the untouchable Aaron Shiki. It's definitely possible.
All right, hear me out here. Tigreal. Oh, wait, did he just get banned? Okay, he's banned. I was about to say,
never mind.
Walking for a second. I thought
recall.
There would have been a chance, but a good read from Fnatic Onic. I mean, especially with that show. With not as much Group CC, the TIG would have been excellent here, and I think that's a good read to be able to take that off the board. Now, yet to see the mages picked up. What are we thinking?
Farce is still out there. Eve is still out there. Vixana, oh, Eve is not there anymore. Vixana is still out there, so is that the possible trade?
Is there Vixana? Yes. My eyes are on this Matilda still.
She's out.
Oh, she's banned. It's been a long.
Is there room for an Aurora? Because I was expecting the Louis to get taken out here too.
What about on FNOP side? Or on FCON side?
Either way.
I think it works better on FCON side to deal with the fighter jungle and the Cho and everything. Joy's a little harder to hit with an Aurora.
You know who I'd like to see? I don't. It might not happen, but the Ruby for Fnatic Onic.
Ruby Roam.
Yeah,
it works good with FCON too. Honestly, you deal with the Cho and you deal with the Suyo.
Yeah, it was brought up yesterday by RRQ Hoshi into the hands of Edok.
Against the Cho, against those types of picks.
Hard stoppers, yeah. Even the Joy had to think twice about dashing through.
Yeah.
She get yeeted in. Yeet.
You ever been yeeted in, Weezy?
I can't say that I have.
It sucks. No fun.
No good. No bueno. All right. There's the Khalid banned out, respecting Kid X's potential. And there's the Kid X pick, the Gatot. He was running out of choices, folks.
Yeah,
but luckily, all of Falcon's players all have played at least 5 heroes throughout the run in M6, so they got deep pockets.
All right, now we put the ball in Fnatic Onyx court to decide, is this going to be a Cho in the XP lane, or will this be a Cho roam?
I think they could Barza here again, honestly. It's the one. It's like I like the Vex, I like the Aurora, but the problem is you have little escape from this Hilda and from this Joy.
Yeah.
But at least with the Farza, you have your wings by wings. You have
You can purify.
You can purify.
You can flicker.
You have a lot of maneuverability at least.
I'm with you. Also, we do not know exactly what Brusco's playing. So finally, we're gonna get a reveal here. Which one of a pocket pick? Is this a Nakai?
No!
Okay.
Still up in the air though. We've seen a good chunk of XP Akai in the past quarter of MLBB Sports.
It could definitely be either one right now. And the same goes for the Gatot and the Hilda.
Oh, it's more likely Hilda XP.
More like, so do you like the Kai over? I think the Cho's better EXP against Hilda because at least you keep up in rotations.
Correct.
This makes it difficult to put in the Farza though, because there's a way to get back to the Farza with the Cho, with
And
the
to
Akai.
steal it.
And to steal it with the Valentina, with the IMU. That's a really good read from Fnatic to lock in that Valentina last minute. And now all eyes are on Falcon Esports. Keep in mind, if they pull off this game, they will tie up this series. A battle to earn top 4 and have a seat in Oxiana.
And that means we go all the way. This rivalry will not go down so quickly. The closer for Falcon. There it is, Coach T, the Aurora.
I like it. I mean, I think it's solid. I think it helps answer something. The real spice here, though, is that Akai. How is it going to work out?
Back-to-back, game-to-game, FNOP bring out a spicy pick. Let's throw those our casters to call this match.
Game number 4 ahead of us here at Falcon Esports after getting the last one. Can they do it again to bring it down to 1 game? What is up, guys? Again, I'm Nice2, and this is Ingan. Ingan, some interesting picks here. We saw the Yuzong earlier last game, but now also the Akai comes to play.
Yeah, Akai onto the hands of Kirk, so it's going to be interesting how he's going to fare up against Royal Milk's Hilda. But in terms of clear speed, I mean, paired up with a concussive blast, then you get the Molten Essence. It's going to be okay, and then you're going to have a huge advantage when it comes to those AoE control.
AoE control or not, again, up for Falcon Esports to gain the flight in the series, jumping into the land of Dawn. Will it be Falcon Esports taking it to a Game 5, taking it all the way against the super fam, FNOP? Or will this be the end of the series? FNOP looking to close it out, still at match point. Dax and King Kong again in the jungle, and yeah, it's Brusco on the Akai. In that roam, Kirk went in, took the Cho, parked it in the XP lane. So now we get to see this kind of difference work here this time around. But I think, you know, Falcon Esports, man, they have a lot of great picks to deal with this. Even looking at the emblems locked in here. Quite a bit already. Royal Milk taking some damage, a little bit too much.
Even popping the Revitalize, but King Kong might actually be able to take him down. Here comes Super Friends, but Shadow Strike also. One more hit, and King Kong gets it. First blood kill onto Fnatic.
First blood going to the hands of King Kong, helping build in that momentum. Surprised, you know, that even with the Revitalize, Royal Milk just wasn't able to kind of withstand that. And that's what I was going to say, you know, the heroes that they have, mind you, they have the double Revitalize sustainability composition here to help them out. Kelra too, I mean, we saw his phenomenal performance on this Granger alone just yesterday. So still, it's going to be that gold lane matchup, and I have to agree with what Trex mentioned earlier. You know, at this point in the knockouts, you're really seeing these gold laners come into play in these, you know, longer series now where they are that crucial part where, yeah, sometimes they're left to their own devices in the lane, but then they end up going 1v1 themselves. But later on, these picks specifically, obviously can turn the tides of these early on fights.
Yeah.
So now, Turtle's up, positioning going to be crucial. You can already see it too. You have Super Prince taking some shots here. PX7 though. Uh-oh. Whoa!
Whoa! A crucial kill for Royal Milk onto King Kong off cam. And now trying to work on Kirk. A no retribution holder for Fnatic Onyx Philippines as Dax picks up his purple.
Oh!
But they answer right back with a takedown onto Kid X as Falcon Esports will try and get the objective away from Fnatic.
They might try to stall this, but I think it's going to be too late with the Joy. The electrifying beat's going to be too much as Dax will secure the objective. Good response again from Falcon Esports. Able to pick up King Kong, you know, it's surprisingly, we didn't get to see it all happen, but PX7 was there. The flicker was gone too, so great usage again with this Aurora pick. They'll kind of settle back into the lanes here at this point. But that's the thing, you know, this Hilda XP has been a nuisance for a lot of teams going against it. Oh, Benny going to go ahead and block a lot of shots. Calro going to be fine, just trying to delay what he can. He is a little bit behind Benny though, for now.
Yeah. So right now, the play for Falcon Esports is to really just be aggressive in the mid lane, especially for Royal Milk onto the bottom lane and try to keep Fnatic Onyx Philippines preoccupied. Don't mind Benny once again. Give him the power spike later on that he needs to try and outplay Fnatic Onyx Philippines. And so far, Royal Milk has been doing that. A solo kill onto King Kong. And the best part is, Fnatic Onyx Philippines, they're not as aggressive compared to what we've seen in game number 1, game number 2, wherein they're trying to control the pace against their opponents.
Maybe they don't have to be too aggressive. I mean, part of this too is because of Super Prince, you know, what ultimates is he going to take for this? Takes the Frigid Glacier. Oh, there's a lockdown, but again, the passive's still there. Takes a shot too with the Queller. So King Kong just kind of shooting off from far range. And like I said, this part of this is, I'm wondering how the Sakai roam is going to work here for Brusco. Especially when he's trying to utilize the lockdown with a heavy spin. And how this all plays apart. King Kong taking a couple shots. Kirk, though, goes with the kick. Might just disengage. Does get the ultimate out. Kirk going to be in trouble as Royal Milk will get the kill.
Ultimate sacrifice for Kirk to save King Kong from harm's way. Again, that was still a good initiation for Falcon Esports, but could be bad or worse for Fnatic Onyx Philippines if King Kong got picked off once again. Now, they're giving a lot of space for Benny onto the top lane. Now they want to go for the counter engage onto Royal Milk, forcing his Revitalize.
This is why they have to buy time. Brusco gets the Revitalize out. They still have one more. Now the Turtle's up. Falcon Esports will go ahead and get in position. Kid X holding down the front side. Kirk taking a couple shots at King Kong, trying to get a range here. But he's going to be zoned out quite a bit from Falcon.
Royal Milk and Kirk and Kid X just trying to zone out. Here comes Brusco with a heavy spin. Caught Dax off guard there, but still Dax gets the turtle. Here comes the counter engage once again from Falcon Esports. Going to bring down 3 more. Oh. Kid X goes in with the AOG and takes down 4 members of Fnatic Onyx.
PX7 is online with the triple on this Aurora. Great usage with the Frigid Glacier, and look at that, they're going to get a tier 1 as well. Talk about momentum for Falcon Esports.
Falcon Esports, 3.3k gold lead. Their lineup actually is good for those counter engages, but looking at the instant replay, they're the aggressors. Even though Brusco had a good pin down onto the backline, they set their eyes on the proper targets, which are the damage dealers. Dax focusing on the turtle, he got it, and at the same time, they had the kit to go for more and overextend because Kid X saved his AOG for the perfect moment where Fnatic Onyx was trying to escape.
And see, that's what I was saying about the lineup that Falcon Esports has. They have so many options to zone out with a front line, but even their back line protection is actually going to be pretty good just because you also throw in Aurora to the mix. So now they're going to be focusing a couple shots on Royal Milk, but he's tanky enough to just deal with it. This is a huge lead already early on. 4,000 gold for Falcon Esports. So now FNOP in a position that they don't find themselves in often. They don't usually have this kind of gap to work against. So the adjustments on how they approach the next